On today's Michigan Football Report, we are live here on Thursday evening, folks. It is 6 p.m. on the East. We're talking recruiting and the latest on the transfer portal. We've got news and rumors about both of those topics, what Michigan's future looks like there. Also, we're going to do a live audience mailbag shortly after that. And then my colleague here at Chat Sports, Harrison Graham, a TCU mega fan and college football expert as well, he will join the show. We're going to break down Michigan TCU for more than 25 minutes or so. And then the Michigan Football Report MFR Q&A. If you want to get on the show, you've got two opportunities today. We will do a live audience mailbag towards about 15, 20 minutes from now, Jack. And then again at around probably about the bottom of the hour, I would say, close to about 6:50 to 7 p.m. So let's get it going. We're going to take some quick, ask you guys some questions for about 5 minutes or so while we let the audience build up here on the Michigan Football Report. New time. We've done it on Tuesday in the past, 5:45 Central, 6:45 Eastern. Moving up a little bit from that one and have switched to Thursday. I got some feedback from people that say, hey, hold the show on Thursday. I can do a little bit more on Thursday. I can watch a little bit better, et cetera, things like that. So let's get it rolling. Let's see where you guys are watching from. I will give some shout-outs. I've got Irving, Texas from Zach Tiemeyer. Zach, we're right down the corner, downtown Dallas in the palatial, what do we call it, the Univision building, a.k.a. The Digital Realty building, downtown Dallas. We got Portland, Tennessee from Kenneth. We've got Bosa from Mark. He's already bringing the fire. Phil Johnson says Bosa as well. Davenport, Florida. Sturgis, Michigan from Stephen Powers. Matt Butler says Nashville, Nash Vegas. Come on, son. Arkansas. My guy, Courtney Harper, that's who it is. Come on, son. Harper from Arkansas, a.k.a. Arkansas, as Les Miles once coined it. So keep shouting out your city. Louisville, Kentucky from Antoine. Phil says Howell, Michigan. And let's see, 214 again from Zach. Yes, sir. Omaha, Nebraska from the Nate, the Groot. Matthew C. with a Go Blue. And Northeast Arizona from Zach Lemke. Taylor, Michigan from Kawan Harris. Keep shouting out those cities. Now, I ask you guys this question. Will Michigan beat TCU, the Horned Frogs? We are 23 days away from Michigan TCU. The lines are gearing up to be a little more friendly right now to TCU. The point spread went from 9.5 points, folks, all the way down to 7.5 points in just about 3-4 days since everything's went down. So keep typing where your city is. Also, will Michigan beat TCU? Give me a Y or an N. I've got Mark saying Y, Stephen Y. Zach says shouldn't be a question. Becky and Chad saying yes. Juwan with a Y. TCU, not him, according to Zach. He would know. He's from right around there. He's about, 20, 30 minutes away from the TCU campus. He says TCU, they're not him. So keep those bad boys going. Jack has put up a poll in the live chat. Go ahead and answer that one as I'm getting. Let me get a little drink of water here, Jack. We got a lot of things to talk about. We have got a lot of show to talk about. But before we jump into everything, I want to tell you about today's sponsor. It is Fetch. Make sure you use the free Fetch app for iPhone or Android to scan your receipts to earn points and turn those points into gift cards. Folks, whether you're shopping at Target, Walmart, grocery shop, or even your local mom and pop store, you can earn reward points by scanning your receipts with Fetch. You can also connect your Amazon account and your email to earn points on all your e-receipts. Use my link. Download at chatsports.com/fetch. You see it at the bottom of the screen. Oh, enter promo code CHAT when you sign up. That's CHAT. You'll get 5,000 points when you scan your first receipt. That's equivalent to a free $5 gift card. As you accumulate points, though, you can click redeem in the Fetch app, and you can choose from hundreds of stores and restaurants like Amazon, CVS, Starbucks to turn those points into gift cards. See on screen how easy it is to use. You just scan your receipts, connect your Amazon account, your email address, you accumulate points, and you can redeem those points for gift cards. The app is absolutely free, and at 5,000 bonus points, folks, it's only for a limited time, so get started now. We're going to put the link in the live chat, chatsports.com/fetch. Enter promo code CHAT when you download the app, free for Android, free for iPhone. Use that link, chatsports.com/fetch. Promo code CHAT when you download. 5,000 bonus points when you scan your first receipt. Link is going to the live chat, and it will be in the description and comments of today's video. Folks, I want you guys to answer this question for me. What is the better holiday? I'll give a few shout outs before we jump into the show. We're not going to do as big of a build up to start today's show. We'll see. Actually, one more question. What is the better holiday? Give me a C for Christmas or an N for New Year's Eve. I probably would have said New Year's. I think it goes in stages in life, Jack. I think Christmas from like birth till probably like 19, maybe. I don't know. Then sometimes people have different opinions in their 20s. Depends on what they do. Some people say, oh, wow, New Year's Eve, my heyday, etc. 20s. I think once you have kids, then it goes back to Christmas. Jack Latteray, mid-20s. I'm not going to give out your age or anything like that. Better holiday, Christmas or New Year's? Jack, you jumping on there? All right, Jack's
Here
jumping
I
on
am.
there he is. We call him Young Harbaugh, Y-U-N-G Harbaugh. He is our rapper. He is our producer. Jack Latteray, Christmas or New Year's?
It's Christmas.
All right.
I love Christmas. I love the time of year. It's not just Christmas Day. It is like day after Thanksgiving, so Black Friday, to the 25th. I think, and I will die on this hill, I think that is the best time of year. Best season of the year is fall.
It's probably the best week of the year, too, because there's very low expectations on, like, personal or work life. People, like, you can kind of be drunk any time of the day if you want to do that sort of thing. So I kind of agree with you there.
And I think the Christmas Eve to New Year's Day, for sports in particular,
phenomenal.
It's a baller, like, 5-6 day stretch.
Especially this year, because we got games on Christmas Eve, we got games on Christmas Day, we got NBA games. Then we've got bowl games on the 2nd, NFL games on the 1st, and then college football games on the 31st. So it's going to be absolutely jam-packed. I'll say this, guys. I was actually happy that Michigan got the early game out of these two because I do think it's not the best scheduling, in my opinion, to put it on New Year's Eve. So, I wouldn't want to. Last year, I spent my New Year's Eve here in the studio till well past midnight doing post-game shows and everything like that. Glad to have the game over by 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and then can go on watching the Ohio State-Georgia game with just a little bit of fun. All right, guys, we're going to get the show started, but we are lacking on likes. Maybe we don't have to get to 100. Jack said we had to go to 100. He's the producer, but maybe we can talk him into, let's just say with 50. I'll make you guys a deal. Can we get to 50 likes on today's show? Why the like helps. Likes are an indication of this is a good video. I'm enjoying what I'm seeing, and we can get the 200 or so of the people who are watching 5-6 minutes into the stream here. We can grow that. So we've got just 27, 28 likes now. I got 560. Now it's jumped up to 41 likes. Let's just get to 50 likes, then we'll start the show. But guys, we got to get to 100 really quickly. So appreciate everyone who's clicking that like button. What like does tells YouTube, hey, it's a decent video, and it'll put the Michigan Football Report in the feeds of more fans of both college football. There we are with 50 likes. Really appreciate everybody. More Michigan fans will see this in their YouTube feed either live or potentially later on in the show. All right, if you didn't see right off the top, here's what we're doing on today's show, folks. We are going to go over recruiting and portal rumors. We're going to take a live audience mailbag. Then I've got my colleague Harrison Graham, a TCU grad, TCU superfan, and our College Football Now host, will join for about 20-plus minutes of Michigan TCU breakdown from their side of things. And then the real ones, at the end of the show, we will do our Michigan Football Report MF for Q&A. All coming up in the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports. Getting started right now. Our top story here in the Michigan Football Report on Thursday evening's live show is Mazi Smith, if you didn't see it earlier, took a plea deal today on his felony gun charge. He pled it down to a misdemeanor and for the unauthorized possession of a firearm in a vehicle. Now, the one interesting thing is his sentencing is actually on December 29th in the court in and around Washtenaw County. So hopefully that doesn't interfere with his ability to play in the CFP semifinal should Jim Harbaugh allow him to play, which I don't think there's any reason to think that he wouldn't since he played in the Big Ten championship game. So this story will not be a distraction in all intents and purposes going forward. Mazi Smith no longer facing a felony charge, pled down to a misdemeanor. The Michigan Football Report, folks, is presented by Manscaped. Make sure you go to manscaped.com, get 20% off and free shipping on all of their awesome male grooming products. We've got Manscaped. We love Manscaped. We've got the Ultra Smooth package, the Lawnmower 4.0. I use Manscaped. The shampoo, the conditioner, everything they have at manscaped.com. Promo code GOBLUE, 20% off and free shipping. All right, let's get some Go Blues in the comments and in the live chat. If you are a Michigan football fan, you're not a hater or a loser, of which there are many, and we've seen some haters in the comments, Jack, recently in the live chat especially. actually. So not allowing any of the haters. So let's see who is repping Michigan football on today's show. Give me a go blue. I'll give a couple shout outs. Some Jeff Rua, my guy. Jeff, good to see you on the show. Mark Shank, Tim K. I don't know what that comment's about. Wayne, Steven, Iceman Comp, Otis John, and Mr. Bajang 86. Is that Mr. Bojangles? Has he got a different name? Bojangles, I've got you on the helmet, so if you're on the real name, though, switch back over to that one. So do it. Keep the Go Blues typing. If you're watching this on Friday morning when we publish it, comment Go Blue. Malachi Coleman, a top 100 2023 defensive end who was committed to Nebraska for a while but decommitted to them last week, got a great visit, according to him, as you see on his Twitter account, Shy Coleman, or Chai, I guess, Kai Coleman, I guess maybe you can pronounce it, 23. Great visit from Jay Harbaugh and Michigan Football Today tweeted it out this afternoon. So what does that one mean, folks? Not really sure. It's not somebody I had, pegged because he's been committed to Nebraska for a while, but decommitted to them. They've going through a coaching change, and Jay Harbaugh going after a potential top 100 commit. So interesting to see what becomes of that one. Signing day is 13 days away, 2 weeks ago from yesterday on December 31st or 21st. Michigan got a commit today. 4-star tight end Hogan Hansen out of Bellevue, Washington, way up there in the Pacific Northwest, has committed to Michigan. Top 250 player in the 2024 class. Here is the picture that he tweeted out today. It's just him. Was that number 11 jersey there, Jack? I can't remember, 40-11, and committed to Michigan, just towering over the big house, an all maize out crowd there at Michigan Stadium for him. So Hansen Hogan, there's his Twitter account. It's at Hansen_Hogan. It's HANSEN_HOGAN. Go ahead and, I'm sorry, I said Hansen Hogan. It's Hogan Hansen. I'm doing it backwards. He's got his Twitter name backwards. Nevertheless, I apologize. Hogan Hansen's the name. Hansen_Hogan is the Twitter name. That's why I got caught off guard there. A little dyslexia going on for me. But Michigan got a 4-star 2024 tight end committed today. So go show him some love on Twitter at Hansen_Hogan. The transfer portal is in day 4 in this first college football free agency that is now going to go 45 days long. If you haven't followed it, folks, December 5th for 45 days. And then at the end of spring practice, I think it's April something, I haven't checked the exact date, for another 45 days. Players have the ability to do all sorts of things. They've got to put the name in the transfer portal at that time. Then they can, talk to other schools. They can talk to coaches. They can listen to NIL pitches all above the board. I think this is a much better solution than what college football has had in the past, where guys are just leaving programs in the middle of the year, all this different stuff. Nevertheless, what I've been hearing from a lot of folks in and around college football, some folks that talk to players in the transfer portal, is Michigan has become a major hot program with the top prospects, not necessarily quarterbacks or anything like that, specifically offensive line, defensive line, secondary, and surprisingly, wide receiver. Quite a few high-end wide receivers are interested in looking at Michigan, reaching out to Michigan. And Michigan up there with a few other programs, probably the ones you're familiar with. LSU's been pretty hot. Alabama, as always, will be hot. Ohio State, not as hot as I thought they would be, but Michigan up there in the top 3 or 4 most talked about programs, most reached out to programs from the best players in the transfer portal. So really good to see. And Michigan is making the transfer portal a priority in a lot of ways is because they're proven players, and Michigan has not had the greatest recruiting class here in 2023, so they're going to fill the gaps they need with the transfer portal. Now, later on in the show, we're going to talk about some of the limitations of that transfer portal, but I'll ask you guys, are you headed to Arizona for the Fiesta Bowl? December 31st, 4 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. local time, Jack, would it be right there? Arizona's 2 hours behind East Coast now, 1 hour behind Dallas. So give me a 1 if so. Give me a yes. Iceman Comp from the live chat is going. Matthew Sauceda, I'm not sure you pronounce it, Matthew, sorry. No. Teresa says Natty. That's Jack and I are going to the Natty, okay? Natty. Tennessee fan Vol Daddy says, pulling hard for the Wolverines. Let's effing go. Eric, too, he wishes. I feel you there, my man. I'll be on my couch from Matthew. Carl says no. Blake, no. So not a ton of folks, yes. Huron JM, yes. I'm guessing that means you're 1, so appreciate that, Huron. I think everyone's going to be watching. Matthew John, he's going natty. Huron John does say 1, natty. So quite a few going, a bunch of you guys not going. Teresa already has tickets to the Natty. Jack and I will be there in live and living color. Michigan playing the winner of, as long as they beat TCU, of course. We're not going to expect anything. Winner of Georgia, Ohio State in the national championship game in LA, SoFi Stadium, Monday, January 9th. Give me a 1 or a 0 below. As we mentioned early on, Michigan making a late push for star defensive end Malachi Coleman, 4-star athlete, number 85 overall in the 2023 class, according to the 24/7 Sports composite rankings. Folks, he is scheduled to be in Ann Arbor next weekend, a week from now, the 16th, next Friday. He will be in Ann Arbor, but as he decommitted from Nebraska, now he's actually scheduled to be in Nebraska this weekend. Going to meet their new coaching staff. Matt Rule got some assistants in play. So I mentioned his tweet early on. Jay Harbaugh in person with him, and now he has got a Michigan football visit scheduled, but they're going to have to fend off Nebraska, his hometown team, with a new coaching staff. We all know how that goes, new coaching staff. Everyone thinks that, it's just going to be wins and up to the moon from here. So Michigan's going to have a chance with them. I think they've got a decent chance of landing him, but nothing's certainly, a certain thing like that. I would probably call it 40% Michigan gets him, 50% Nebraska, and 10% another school kind of comes in from the top rope and grabs it from there. All right, folks, coming up, we have more Michigan football recruiting news and rumors, but we got to pay the bills here. So I want to tell you about our friends over at Manscaped. Michigan Football Report is presented by Manscaped. I want to make sure you guys all see this product. I'm going to pull it as close to I can. The Lawnmower 4.0. I use this thing all the time. It trims right down to the skin. Leaves a little bit of, I'm sure you can take it in the shower, etc. If you don't want to take it in the shower with you, chargeable. You've got the Manscaped newspaper. Yeah, it says "We Say Balls," which they do. And you take this bad boy, folks, as I can get open. Right, you put it on the ground. You shave into there. You clean it up really super easy. Also with the Manscaped Ultra Smooth package. It's part of the package you see on screen, which is the Platinum package. You get the Manscaped shaving care for down there. You can go right down to the skin if you want. I know a few ladies that use Manscaped as well, folks. Manscaped makes amazing stocking stuffers. They've got cologne. They have shampoo. They have conditioner. They've got the Lawnmower 4.0. They've got all kinds of male grooming products. Hell, I use the Manscaped lip balm as well. 20% off and free shipping on any of their products. They make great stocking stuffers. You need to give. I'm actually, Jack, you won't know this, believe this, but I'm going to a party on my street next week. Everyone's got to give a $20 gift, right, for a white elephant party. I'm giving them some Manscaped, right? I'm giving mine is some Manscaped, and I'm going to go way over the $20 as I'm putting together a nice little package for them. But go to manscaped.com, use promo code GOBLUE, get yourself a great stocking stuffer for somebody in your life, or hell, even yourself this holiday season. Manscaped.com, promo code is GOBLUE. Michigan's top remaining committed recruit in the 2023 class, is he wavering? Eno Etta, right out of the state of Texas, near where I am here at the Michigan Football Report in Dallas. Eno Etta is potentially wavering away from Jim Harbaugh's program. Been committed since July over Alabama, Michigan State, Stanford. High-level education kind of kid. But lately, Miami, Josh Gaddis, that scumbag, and LSU have been trending heavy towards him, contacting a bunch, putting the pressure on him to flip his commit with name, image, and likeness deals. And his friend there, Collins, whatever how you pronounce his name, he's going to Miami. He flipped from Michigan last week. I've seen a funny comment here in the live chat I'll talk about here in a second about Manscaped. But his buddy there, Collins A, we'll call him, who flipped from Michigan last week, is trying to get him to come to Miami. They're showing him the bag, NIL deal, better than what Michigan's offering him. So he put out a quote today to one of the recruiting blog boys, said he's locked in for Michigan, but Miami, LSU still coming after him. Folks, he's Michigan's highest rated recruit. They already lost his buddy Collins A, and if Michigan loses their top 2 recruits in this class coming down the stretch last 3 weeks, that's a big-time blow. Not something you want to see in a class that's ranked number 20 right now in the 24/7 Sports composite. Not a good sign. Hopefully Michigan can hold on to him. We'll see where things go from here, as we have now 13 days left until Michigan football signs their early 2023 class on December 21st. Ask you guys this question. How concerned are you with recruiting on a scale from 1 to 10? Go ahead and comment below or in the YouTube live chat. How concerned are you with Michigan football recruiting in particular, let's say, on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being not very much, 10 being, Yeah, I'm pretty dang concerned. Let me know. 10 from Mr. Bajang, 86. 6 from Ramon. Rico says 10. 7 from Jacob. D Original 7. Iceman Comp 7. JC with a 4. TY Ty 5 says, what's up with our dang recruiting? It's starting to get ridiculous. Zach says 6. Justin 7. So pretty much 6, 7, 8, 9. No one's really have 1. Phil Johnson says 4. But for the most part, Florida Knox says 4 as well. It's all 6s and up. I'm going to go with a 6. I'm going to go with a 7. 7 on the dot. 7.1 is my vote. Jack, what's your vote? What's your vote? 7.5 for Jack. Let me know what you guys think as well. Is name, image, likeness, and the transfer portal, is it hurting Michigan? Not just from a recruiting perspective, but transfer portal in, transfer portal out. We've seen Eric All. We've seen Cade McNamara already leave Michigan this year. Now, Michigan did pretty good last year, right? They got Oluwatimi. They've got quite a few players there. But I think there's some things that Michigan needs to change if they are going to be a dominant program long term. So let's put together 2 different buckets right here that Michigan, if done right, can keep themselves, at the top of college football where they are right now. From a name, image, and likeness perspective and transfer portal, Michigan needs an impactful NIL strategy. From what we can tell right now, from everybody who has any inside knowledge, the people on the collectives, etc., Michigan is not really promising much of anything. There's maybe $1,000, $2,000 here from these collectives, but there's no strategy, as George W. Bush once said, strategy from the top down, from Ward Manuel or any of the top boosters. What I think Michigan needs is a lead alumni super booster who can put together tons of money, right? Schools like Ohio State now, right? They're already guaranteeing $10,000 and $15,000 and $20,000 to incoming recruits, guaranteed per year. No matter what happens to you. And then if you're a star, you can get that car dealership deal. You can get that Nissan deal, whatever it is from there. But just telling a guy, hey, you're going to have an extra $20,000 just per year when you come here, that's something that Michigan right now does not have. Also, looser admission standards. Michigan struggles. They can bring in freshmen. They can bring in grad transfers. Anything in between, very challenging for Michigan to bring in. Why? Is because the rule is that Michigan, if you want to graduate, you've got to have more than half your credits from the University of Michigan. So sometimes a guy like Shea Patterson, he had to give up like 3 semesters of credits because they wouldn't transfer to Michigan because he had too many credits to transfer and still be considered an undergrad transfer with an opportunity to graduate from Michigan. From a compensation and staff perspective, new contract for Jim Harbaugh, long-term deal, up with what Nick Saban and others have. Let's kill the NFL speculation, which is back once and for all. A general manager of the program, which I'll talk about a little more throughout the rest of the live show, and double the scouting staff. You think about it right now. Michigan needs to scout 2023, 2024, 25 recruits, right? That's one job. That's like 3 jobs, right? They've got to scout the transfer portal. Players all over the country. They've got to scout their own players to see who they want to keep and not let go, etc. And I think they're really struggling that. They're trying to put all those jobs on like 2 or 3 guys right now. So that is what I think Jim Harbaugh needs to consistently be in the top 5 of college football like he's had Michigan over the last 2 seasons. All right, folks, coming up, what will Michigan football look like in the new era of college football? We will tell you all about that here in a moment. I want to kind of go through a few things here, my thoughts on name, image, and likeness. So let's keep it rolling here. But before we do, I want to make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We've got 24,179 subscribers here on the Michigan Football Report. If you're watching live, just click that button right below the video that says subscribe. You will get videos every single day during the Michigan football season, right up until February signing day. We'll do a video every single day. After that, 3-4 times a week until August, where we ramp it back up to every single day. And now we're going to have live shows every Thursday going forward until the February signing day. So go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports, or send that link to a friend. Do me a solid, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Michigan has thrived in the name, image, and likeness era. Very surprising, right? The name, image, and likeness era, the transfer portal era, all started July 1st of 2021. What's happened since then? Michigan has gone 25-2, the best 2-year stretch in a modern era of this program. But I think that speaks more to Jim Harbaugh putting together a great coaching staff leading into 2021 and already having the cornerstones of this team, and for the near future as well, Donovan Edwards, JJ McCarthy, they were already committed. They were already on campus in summer of 2021. Had that not been the case, I'd be more concerned about the next 2 years or so of this program. But what Michigan needs in the future, folks, is to stay relevant in the next 2-3 years. Number one is the transfer portal rules, the transfer rules at Michigan. As I mentioned, they put this school, this university, at a terrible disadvantage from, compared to Ohio State, compared to Michigan State, really compared to anybody, because the rules as they stand now is if you want to graduate, which surprisingly, a lot of these players actually do want to get that degree, is if a guy's a junior or a sophomore, he might have to give up as many as 3 semesters of his coursework at his prior school and be like a second semester freshman again if he wants to transfer to Michigan, let's just say a 3rd or 4th year player. So as I mentioned, Michigan's got to change that up. I think they need to put in a special rule for athletes only, but it could be for all students of across the board. So I'll ask you guys this question. Who should Michigan loosen the transfer requirements for? If you think it's for athletes and only athletes, give me a A in the comments and live chat. If you think it should be for all students, regular students, and athletes, you should be able to transfer after 2.5 years, 3 years, be able to get a degree at Michigan, go ahead and type S. If it's neither, Michigan should stick to how things are going. If it's neither, go ahead and give me an N, A, S, or N, athletes, all students, or neither. Let me know A, S, or N. All right, we got a super chat from John from Blue Wolverine. Blue Wolverine with a super chat. All right, Jack, I got to tie my shoe. I'm wearing these damn shoes again. They just don't stay tied. So I'm going to kind of pull this this chair over here. You guys got to do that. What I want to do is I don't want to be a blooper reel, go viral for tripping over my shoe and slamming my head into something while I'm streaming live on the internet. So there you go. Tying the shoe. You see my audio, Jack? I just stepped on my cords. Great. So Blue Wolverine with the $10 super chat. So might as well toss up on screen. He says, go blue. But as you guys know, it is that time. We're going to take your questions here in a second. And guys, in about 12 minutes from now, I've got a guest coming on, Harrison Graham from College Football Now. He is a TCU grad, is a TCU expert. We are going to talk all things TCU. But I want to give my guy, Blue Wolverine, a shout out. Jack, toss up the super chat menu on today's show, folks. We're going to be live for around another hour today. So if you want to get the party started like Blue Wolverine did, he is on the helmet. So you guys see this. I'm putting as close to one of our cameras as I can. All right, I'm going to name some of these folks off. John Blaze, he was the MVP last week. He's got a bunch on there for $10 super chats. Mr. Bojangles, 870. Josh Sherwood, Preston Yoder, my son with a 20 spot. Cool Moti, Dominic Franchillo, John Blaze a bunch of times. Shane Johnson, my guy. By the way, Shane Johnson's going to sell. He's got some first row Michigan football tickets to the Fiesta Bowl. I'll tweet those out this weekend. He asked if we can help him sell them. Some guy, Blue Wolverine again. I'm going to get him Rick Harford as well with a couple of these Rock City on the helmet. So Blue Wolverine, you are getting, I got to find my marker. We've got the right marker this time, Jack, so no more smearing like we had in previous shows. So Blue Wolverine, and the date is what, Jack? The 8th? Yes. It is 12/8. All right, there you go, Blue Wolverine. You are getting another helmet sticker, my guy. Oh, we got another super chat. Who we got, Jack? Dominic, he's on there again. Dominic, my guy. Jack, make sure you're updating the hot board. If anybody on there, we'll show you. Dominic with the $10. He's getting on the helmet. So if you guys don't know, as we'll show the super chat menu in again, Dominic, thank you so much for the super chat. You just bought Jack and I dinner tonight. If we go, something legit. I really appreciate that. What we're gonna do is, at the end of February, we're going to do live shows for the next 2.5 months, 2 months or so, I guess, till February, right around this time in February. I'm going to take this helmet, and if we get one, we'll do another one. However many helmets we fill up, I'm going to fill it with dollar bills so you can just make it rain. I'm going to take that. I'm going to take this Blake Corum signed football, right? And I'm going to buy you the Michigan football jersey of the player of your choice, a little NIL action. I'm going to mail it to whoever is the MVP of the Michigan football show. So let's take a super chat, the college football playoff era super chat leaders. John Blaze, $290. Blue Wolverine already had 10. So is that 10 added on there already? So that Blue Wolverines was at 145 up to 155. Cool Moti, Wolverine, Alaska. Did we give him credit for his Leanne's $10 too? Oh, Wolverine, Alaska, there he is. $20, my guy. He's getting 2 stickers. Do we give him the 10 for Leanne as well? Okay, cool. So he is up to 90. My guy, Wolverine Alaska, he says, thanks for hosting my favorite show. Keep it going. How can we give Cave positive vibes? We appreciate his leadership. But the main question is, do we have a good plan for a backup quarterback? Let me put these on here. Blue Wolverine. I'm going to answer. I'm sorry, Wolverine Alaska. We will talk about that in the mailbag here in a second. Let me answer your question. What's up, Jack? All right. He is now Wolverine Alaska. Wolverine Alaska, what is the temperature in Alaska right now? 12.8. He's getting 2 of these. All right. 12.8. I'm going to let those dry. I'm adding Wolverine Alaska. Now, this thing's filling up fast, Jack. So let's talk about Cade Mack. Jack, why don't we take, if it's not too hard, because I think it's probably better, why don't we go to the stuff we've got for the first Q&A and the second Q&A. Let's do that one first, if that's cool. Yeah. Because I think people want to know about that. Any other question? Cool Motif with the 10 spot. My guy, coming in hot. Appreciate that. So let me take, I'll answer Cool Motif's question here. You got the emoji, the video game emoji. All right, that's cool. Cool Motif, thank you so much. I got to add you one. Guys, keep using hashtag Michigan or Super Chats. We are going to take about 15 minutes of questions here on the Michigan Football Report live here on Thursday as Cool Motif gets another sticker, my man. Cool. Oh, Steven! Cool Motif, it is 12.8. He is another sticker on the board. Steven Mers, he says, you should be sponsored by Viagra because this channel goes hard as fuck. You're the man, Yoder. My man, Mers. I feel like my man Mers, we've been DMing for a long time on Twitter and Instagram. We got to hit the street sometime. I know he's in Chicago. I got to get up there too. Really appreciate that. Steven Mers, he gets a sticker as well. He is going on the Michigan Football Report helmet. We haven't even started taking questions. We just getting bombarded with supers there. Appreciate everybody. We really do. And Jack and I are going to keep it all December long, all through the CFP. So let me get Steven's sticker on there. Steven. All right, Steven, you are now on the hard hat. You have got a helmet sticker. It's like the equivalent of, you get a sack or something like that. You get a helmet. Steve Mers, Super Chat. He is on the helmet right next to the Michigan football logo. Steven, thank you so much to appreciate my bad helmet. So let me answer those questions, Jack. When we go back to the start, let's answer those before we kind of start the rest of the show. Actually, that's a good idea. Let's go ahead and do those in the mail. So, Steven and Wolverine Alaska and John Blaze, you have a question. I can't remember going up there. He just says go. I'm sorry, Blue Wolverine. My apologies. So let's get Wolverine Alaska's question in this mailbag, and we will keep it rolling here on the Michigan Football Report. All right, guys. So as you know, use hashtag Michigan, or you can super chat. We're going to take Steven's question as well. We can put Steven's question in too. It'd be kind of funny. No, let's do them back to back. Yeah, back to back. So start with the super chat and then go to the other one. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, guys. So we're gonna deal with it here on the fly. Here, got some super chats. Want to make sure we're asking those, and we're gonna put this next part up on the channel on Saturday. So use hashtag Michigan. Goes to the top of Jack's production software, or use super chat. We can see it. Everybody can see your question, and we'll put that on the show. We are going to take about 10 to 12 minutes of your questions coming up right now. As always, use hashtag Michigan to get your questions answered on our live shows. The Michigan Football Report will be live every Thursday until Wednesday signing day in early February. So make sure you guys are subscribed and using hashtag Michigan on our live shows to get your questions in the queue here on the Michigan Football Report. It is a mailbag time. I am taking your questions, and we are diving into a bunch of topics in and around the Michigan Football Report. Before we do, folks, I want to ask you guys one question. Who is your favorite Michigan quarterback of all time? Why do I ask that? It's because is JJ McCarthy not going to be the guy for pretty much everybody by the end of next year if things remain the way they've gone? The kid is 12-0 as a starter. He's been at Michigan for 2 seasons. The team has lost 2 games in his 2 seasons, right? He's been a major contributor for that entire part. I think right now, I'm going to go with, it's really tough to say. I'm going to say Chad Henne, although I don't think he deserves it because he never beat Ohio State. I see a bunch of Denard Robinsons in the chat. I think Denard could be number 2. I wish he would have been, Drew Henson reminds me a lot of JJ McCarthy as we go. Oh, Dan Farrar with a $40 super chat. My man, Dan, we'll get to you in just a moment. We appreciate the super chat. Keep it rolling. $40 super chat from Dan Farrar. I appreciate it, Dan. We'll get to you in just a moment. Let me know who your quarterback is. I've seen a lot of Tom Brady, a lot of Ricky Leach from Thomas Weber, a little honk from Bob Ufer. So let me know in the comments and the live chat who your favorite Michigan football quarterback is of all time. All right, Wolverine Alaska, get into his super chat, says, thanks for hosting my favorite Michigan show. Keep it going. How can we give Cade positive vibes that we really appreciate his leadership? But the main question is, do we have a good backup plan for backup quarterback? So stay on Wolverine Alaska here. I'll address that. And then we had another question coming in at the top of the show that we want to address as well on Cade McNamara. Let's talk about the backup plan. Michigan is actively recruiting quarterbacks who are grad transfer eligible with at least 2 years of eligibility, pretty heavy. Have a bunch of names. I don't want to kind of narrow it down. I want to narrow it down to like 4 or 5 guys before I really kind of give them out, because I've heard like 15 different names. But what they're looking for is someone who can be there for 2023, be a solid backup quarterback, but still has a year of eligibility in 2024 should JJ McCarthy leave for the NFL. Davis Warren is the backup right now with Cade McNamara being injured and then leaving. Remember, he's a walk-on who was injured in high school. He's looked good. Michigan likes him a lot, but they're looking for a 2-year transfer, grad transfer, so he doesn't have to worry about any eligibility or transfer, any kind of things like that, and doesn't have expectations to start, is maybe looking to get a master's degree from Michigan, potentially be part of the Michigan football community, coaching opportunity, but could win games if he had to start in the 2024 season or if something would happen to JJ McCarthy. Now, kind of combine that Wolverine Alaska $20 super chat with this question from Dumb Michigan Fan. I don't believe that about you, but nevertheless, that's your name. Can we hear your opinion on Cade McNamara interview with Jordan Palmer? All right, so if you guys didn't see it last night, I want to address this. I watched Cade McNamara. It was like 30 to 45 minutes, something like that. I was just kind of listening on my AirPods in the background as I was doing some laundry and, getting ready for my trip tomorrow, heading to Miami tomorrow. I thought Cade McNamara probably got tossed some hard, just environment, right? Jordan Palmer, the quarterback guru coach, and then what's the kid's name? Kyle Allen, a former Texas A&M quarterback, was in the NFL for a drink of water. They really started the interview off, and you can watch on YouTube. Just look up Cade McNamara, Jordan Palmer interview. Cade took some shots at Michigan. Number one, I think he misrepresented the battle that he was in with JJ McCarthy. He made it seem like Michigan gave him assurances that the job was his, and that he also wasn't expecting a battle because JJ was out during spring ball. He also kind of made inferences that a guy like Lewis Hansen, the tight end, was done wrong by Michigan, and even called him like a backup tight end. I mean, Lewis Hansen is transferring. He's not been the backup tight end. Frankly, he's not even been in the top 4 on the 2 deep on the tight end. But I really wish Cade would have done that article. He took that interview. He took shots in a nice way at Michigan's name, image, and likeness. He took shots at not getting the love as starting quarterback. He said random things like Michigan had never won a Big Ten title before he got there, which is, I think he meant Big Ten championship game, which would have been true. It's only been around for a decade. Clearly, Michigan's won 44 Big Ten championships. But I wish him and Eric All wouldn't be taking parting shots out the door, because what I've seen on social media over the past few days is that people are pissed, right? On Twitter, right? Look at just search Cade McNamara, search Eric All on Twitter, go look at Facebook groups, etc. Look at the comments on our show. People are mad at these guys for taking shots at Michigan out the door. I've told a few people this, that I hope the message got to Cade weeks ago, and I don't think it ever did. I said, look, whatever you do every Michigan fan knows you're leaving after this year. Do it gracefully. Put out the tweet and just said, I have loved my time at Michigan. I'll never forget beating Ohio State again, and I hope this program does great things. I'm going to go continue my playing career elsewhere, but I'll always be a Wolverine. I'll be cheering for you guys. Go Blue. I don't think he did that. I think he took unnecessary shots, which I think is going to leave a bad taste in the mouths of a lot of Michigan fans. Eric All similarly done, and Michigan, Eric All's doctor put out a statement today about his medical condition and all these different things. I wish those guys would have just kept it classy, because they gave Michigan fans a ton of great memories. I'll still have great memories from them, especially those two, the Penn State game, and I don't think I'll ever forget what Hassan Haskins, Blake Corum, and the rest of the Michigan team did from an offensive perspective to complement a defense to win a Big Ten championship and beat Ohio State again last year. Dan Farrar, I appreciate the supers. I'm sorry if I messed up your name. I'm guessing Ferrer. Let's say Dan Ferrer, $40 super chat. So Jack, I'm going to give him one, but I don't want to take up the whole show moment. So make sure we're getting 4 for Dan. I'm going to write it down there. 4 for Dan. He's getting 4 stickers on the Michigan Football Report. I'm going to add him on there. Dan's Farrer, right, Jack? Okay, on 12-8. Dan with a $40 super chat. My guy, Jack, why don't we toss up the super chat menu for a quick second? I know we're on the news, the mailbag cut. Make sure everybody knows. We do super chats here on our live shows. $100 super chat from anybody. I will FaceTime call you right now. You just put, we'll get your information. We'll DM you as well. We'll get your FaceTime. $5 wheel spin. Jack will show that in a few minutes. $10 helmet sticker. We got all kinds of helmet stickers. We're going to give this helmet and a Blake Corum signed ball and a Michigan football jersey away here in another month and a half. $50. Anybody $50 super chat. So Dan, 10 more bucks. I'll make you a personal Michigan football holiday video, Christmas video, news, whatever you guys want. You can send it to somebody else. And then our biggest super MVP, it's Dan so far, right? So make sure we make him one. We'll get the MVP for today's show. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, it's the Michigan Football Report, providing Michigan football breaking news. Last week, big breaking news week, right, Jack? We had Blake Corum, Mozzie Smith, same day. We had a video out within minutes, 30 minutes of those news stories. Subscribe today, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Baron with the question, with James Yoder, Michigan football. Oh, man, I'm like, what? Okay, I got. Does Michigan plan to get revenge against Georgia? I mean, that's the plan, right? I think the really interesting thing, I think it seemed, cheeky, corny at the time last year when Andrew Anthony, Donovan Edwards, and JJ McCarthy stayed out in the field after the Orange Bowl and watched Georgia celebrate and get, the Orange Bowl championship, all that different stuff. They stay out there because, they want to know what it was like. They would never want to have that feeling again. I think that will make a difference, but whoever Michigan plays in that championship game, should they beat TCU, there is going to be some bad blood for these Wolverines, a chance to beat Ohio State again twice in one season, 3 straight times. That would be a motivating factor, absolutely. Or if not Ohio State, they get revenge on really the team that potentially kept them away from a national championship opportunity last year in the eventual national champions in the Georgia Bulldogs. So I think absolutely revenge, but whoever they play in that title game, Michigan will have something to say about what's going on between them and their opponent over the last few years. Make sure you guys download our sponsor, Fetch. It's the Fetch app, folks, for iPhone or Android. It is absolutely free to use. Allows you to scan your receipts to earn points and turn those points into gift cards. Whether you're shopping at Target, Walmart, your grocery store, or even your local mom and pop store, you can earn reward points by scanning your receipts with Fetch. You can also connect your Amazon account and your email address to earn points on all of your e-receipts. If you get an Uber or anything like that, DoorDash, get points for those purchases. It's totally free. Use my link to download. Jack, toss that in the live chat if you get the opportunity. Chatsports.com/Fetch, chatsports.com/Fetch. You scan your receipts, you connect your Amazon account, you accumulate points, and you get 5,000 bonus points when you download chatsports.com/Fetch. Drops you onto the App Store for iPhone or Android. Use promo code CHAT for the 5,000 bonus points. That's equivalent, folks, to a free $5 gift card. When you accumulate enough points, you can click on redeem in the Fetch app, and you can choose from hundreds of stores and restaurants, Amazon, CVS, Starbucks, movie theaters, to turn those points into gift cards. You saw on screen how easy the app is to use. The 5,000 bonus points is only for a limited time, so get started now. Chatsports.com/Fetch. Enter promo code CHAT, CHAT. The link is in the live chat, the comments, and the description of today's Michigan Football Report. Chatsports.com/Fetch. My man Stephen Murs says, thanks for all you do, Yoder. With the transfer portal being so hot, do you think Michigan tells these higher recruits to go strategically wait to commit so we don't lose on more players? Pretty interesting thought, right? So he's basically asking if Michigan would have guys potentially wait until January or February. How about like a Nicholas Harbor or someone like that? It's an interesting scenario. I haven't heard it necessarily. I think I probably would have in some way, shape, or form over the past few months, but I don't hate the strategy, but you risk losing those guys. Is Michigan tells the recruits, hey, wait, because we want to go hard after these transfer portal guys right after the season. Maybe you could, you don't have to sign December 21st as a recruit. You can wait until February, no big deal. And you could even wait until early January if you're an early enrollee. Just show up on campus, sign the letter of intent. That days, I haven't heard of it, Stephen, but if I do, I'm going to let you guys know. I'll shoot you a DM. I'm going to reach out after the show today, see if we can find out about it. Shane Johnson, we got him, Jack. I'm going to put him on the I'm going to put one for Shane as well. Get you on the helmet here in a moment, Shane. JJ will be everyone's favorite when he ends his career 4-0 in the game. He's already 2-0, folks. 2 natties, and Jaden Davis, he's saying Michigan's 2024 5-star quarterback. I don't want to say commit yet, but deep target is do or die. All right, so to go 25-2 and not sign a 5-star quarterback were beyond ridiculous. He also would probably cement a top 5 class in 2024. So 2 thoughts there. Once JJ McCarthy leaves Michigan, if everything pans out, I think as long as he beats Ohio State next year, right? They'll give him 3 wins, maybe 4 if they rematch in the national title game, and leaves. I don't know if you could do anything else, right? JJ McCarthy becomes the greatest quarterback maybe in Michigan football history. And then he says Jaden Davis. Friday was always the day, right? So you might be watching this, folks, on Saturday. We're recording this on our live show Thursday night. If he didn't come in on Friday, then my information was not either accurate or something's changed, right? Is we heard last week after the Ohio State game, it'll be at least by the Friday after the Big Ten title game. Well, folks, that is December 9th, and if he doesn't commit tomorrow, I'm not saying panic yet with Jaden Davis, but that at least was the word after his visit a couple weeks ago at the Big House. Let me guys answer me this question. What is your drink of choice when watching a Michigan football game? Beer, wine, liquor, if you're talking about alcoholic beverages, of course, or you don't drink. I'll first few people to put it in the live chats I'll give shout outs to. So beer, wine, liquor, or don't drink. Let me know what you guys drink when you're watching a Michigan football game. I got Hugh. I see that last name, Hugh. He's given a beer. Logan's a B as well for beer. Zach B. Go Blue 2022 B. And then J Money Cyper says he doesn't drink. Carl doesn't drink as well. McB. And Eric is a B. So a lot of beer guys, few don't drinks there. I think we saw a water or wine for W. Mr. Gary something doesn't drink. L liquor for the A train. So let me know down in the comments if you're watching this on the on-demand cut on Saturday. Gary from the Upper Peninsula. I think that's what Gary, a guy from the Upper Peninsula. I said Gary from UP. That's a picture of Guy Fieri, though, right? You think it's really him, Jack? I don't know. We'll say Dan Fair, $50. You know what that means, Jack? We're going to get your info. Dan, if you can, put in the live chat your Twitter or Instagram, link to your Twitter Instagram account. We're going to DM you and get your information so we can FaceTime you, right? That's $50, right? It was FaceTime, or was that $100? 50? Okay, 50. Okay. Personalized video for Dan. So we got one for you coming up, Dan. Appreciate it. Will there be any unexpected players declaring for the NFL draft like Chris Hinton or Vincent Gray last year? Get the hashtag Michigan. I thought Eric Gall was going to be that guy. He was almost that guy last year, but decided to stick around for this year, got hurt, and now is looking like he is going to be a transfer portal guy. Wouldn't be as unexpected as those guys. They didn't get drafted. They both would be practice squad guys, and I think that was a bad look. They certainly would have made a difference on this year's Michigan team, although I don't know if Michigan absolutely needed them or not. It doesn't seem like they did, given that they're 13-0. But think about a couple guys here potentially. Right? Mike Morris, I think he's a high potential draft pick, but I think the expectation right now is that he does probably come back. Not necessarily the same level here. I would say maybe DJ Turner, but that one seems a little bit ridiculous too. Not that specifically those two guys that might go undrafted. Guys that might be unexpected a little bit. Zach Zinter might potentially leave. He's been there for 3 years, starting for 3 years as Michigan's right guard. He's one that might be unexpected. I think Michigan's expecting to come back. G-Mon Green, maybe G-Mon Green could fall into that Vincent Gray where he declares the NFL draft and doesn't get drafted. But overall, I think guys who were, if they leave, like Zach, like Mike Morris, Mozzie Smith, I think is going to leave. Blake Corum, of course, I think will leave as well. I think all those guys will get drafted, and don't run the risk of getting undrafted like Hinton and Vincent Gray did last year. Let me know again, folks, will you guys be in the national championship game in LA? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Y or N, I want to know from you guys, will you be joining Jack and I, national championship, of course, assuming Michigan wins, beats TCU, January 9th in Los Angeles SoFi Stadium? Give me a Y or an N. All right, folks, we are going to give some shout-outs to those wire ends. Check. I'm taking my shoes off. Look at this. I'm taking my shoes off. I usually wear Jordans. I've got these on clouds because, doing a 2-hour live show, they just keep this the one that's tied. These shoes just keep coming untied. I can't deal with it. On cloud, you're done. I'm taking you off. You're done. I'm not wearing shoes anymore, Jack. things come untied 3 times in the 49 minutes since we've been live. Got some yeses from Michael Spleet. Fetch Lives Daily is a Y. Iceman Comp is a Y. He's going, what's up, fellas? From Marcus Thomas. We've got, keep them going here, Jack. I'm going to give there. We've got a few. Why don't we give some of these out? How about this? If I want to give these before we go. So who do we have, Jack, that we've got to do? We've got Dan. We've got 4 more for Dan, right? Shane. I did not do Shane. No, I didn't write him down. Yep. Okay. And then, yeah, okay, cool. So there we go, folks. Dan, I've got ones for you. So we are going to give some few shout-outs here. No from M. Gary something, Mark Matkowski, Bless the Wise, J Money Sniper. Man, no for him. Kevin Kester, see you in L.A. Stephen Merce, called me George Clooney up in the air, so that sounds like he's going to. Captain Nemo's a yes. Michigan man Jason is a no. Keep those rolling. All right, guys, so we owe Dan Farrer and we owe Shane some stickers. So I'm going to put those on there in a minute. Those will be on the helmet shortly, but next up, I've got, he's waiting outside the studio, so we have got my guy, Harrison Graham, as we're getting a little hot in here. It's going to get a little hotter with Harrison joining the show, so I'm going to take off the coat. I'm swagged out in Michigan. Harrison Graham from College Football Now, and he is a host for Bears Now by Chat Sports. He is joining the show, so stick with us here. We've got a bunch of Michigan TCU to go up. It's Harrison Graham joining me on the show right now. I am your host, as always, James Yoder. We are going to take a deeper dive. I brought on one of the enemies, folks. TCU grad, TCU superfan is going to join us just in a moment to break down what the Horned Frogs are thinking about Michigan, how they could potentially win the games, and what Michigan fans should expect from this TCU team coming up here in about 3 weeks. But before we do, folks, do want to help us we ask you guys to help us get to 25,000 subscribers. Will be a hell of a milestone for the Michigan Football Report. We are at 24,203 subscribers, so help us get to 25,000. If you haven't yet, if you've subscribed but you haven't sent us a friend, send that link down there, bottom of the screen, youtube.com/Michigan TV. Take it, send it to a friend who loves the Wolverines, and make them get a part of the biggest Michigan football community on YouTube. All right, with that, folks, we welcome on my colleague here at Chat Sports. It is Harrison Graham, host of Bears Now, host of the Chiefs Report, and host of College Football Now, TCU graduate super fan. And me and him, we might, I don't know, Harrison, the loser of this game, the other one might have to be, the loser might have to be the winner's butler or something like that for a week. But as we start this, Harrison, why don't you just start the show off? Just give everybody a little insight of what your takeaway is on Michigan from kind of an outsider's perspective going into this matchup.
Yeah, absolutely, James. And what I see with this Michigan team is this is a team that wins with physicality and toughness. Jim Harbaugh has kind of gone back to his roots the past couple of years. You know, they tried to go to this spread-out, high-tempo offense with Josh Gaddis, and there was some success at times with Shea Patterson, especially a couple of years ago, and even last year, Gaddis wins the Broyles Award. I think this year that's kind of shown that maybe it was more Harbaugh running the show a year ago. But you look at how they're built. Offensive line, defensive line, running the football, being efficient, and not necessarily having to run 80, 85 plays per game. I think they kind of went to the antithesis of Ohio State, right? And they've kind of taken it to the Buckeyes the last 2 years of, hey, we're going to beat you with physicality while you guys try to play horizontally. We're going to hit you in the mouth, and that's kind of what they've done. They've built a great offensive line, defensive line, and it's smash-mouth football, which is what Jim Harbaugh has known his entire coaching career.
Yeah, they've really zigged where the rest of college football has zagged in a lot of ways. All right, guys, before we dive in, Harrison's going to give us his keys to victory for TCU. I'm going to give you mine for Michigan. Make sure you guys give Harrison a follow on Twitter. We'll put it in the comments and description, and it will be in the live chat of today's show. Just click on that link and go ahead and follow him. And while you're there, guys, let's do it. It is a Michigan football flash mob. Let's show Harrison a welcome to the Michigan Football Report as the guy who's been rooting against me all month long here in the office. Go tweet at Harrison. It's HGramNFL. I'll put it down in the comments, the live chat, and the description. Go tweet at him. Just say, Go Blue. You might want to add a couple little comments here or there. It's up to you guys, though. But let's make sure we give Harrison a bunch of Go Blues there on Twitter at HGramNFL. All right, Harrison, have you seen this right here? The spread has come down. It's only a 7.5-point spread. It started at 9.5 spread, so it's come down by 2 points in just a matter of, 4 or 5 days so far. What do you make of that?
Yeah, what's interesting, James, is both games are like pretty close. I think the other game, as we're filming this one, is 6.5 in favor of Georgia over Ohio State. I'm not super surprised. I mean, this is a TCU team that, granted, has played in a lot of close teams this year, that's comfortable playing close games and has a lot of good wins on their resume and is a veteran-laden group that knows how to win football games. I think this culture that Sonny Dykes has brought into this program has this group believing. They've got a veteran quarterback in Max Duggan, who we'll talk about. So I think this could end up shifting back half a point. Maybe it settles at 8.5 around kickoff, but I don't necessarily view this game as a blowout, even though we've seen blowout games in the CFP before. Obviously, we'll see how it plays out. And the early showings, by the way, with ticket purchases, I think TCU fans will show up in a major way because they've been waiting for this playoff opportunity since 2014, where this fan base felt like they got snubbed. So we'll see. Michigan's certainly a favorite and should be a favorite, but I don't view this as small old Mountain West TCU. This is a team that absolutely has a chance in this game.
If you guys want to bet this game, by the way, stick with us for about 5-6 more minutes. We'll tell you how you can get a free jersey, Michigan football jersey, from today's sponsor. But I want to know what you guys think about this game. Go ahead and predict the score down in the comments or in the YouTube live chat. Harris and I are going to give our predictions towards the end of the show. But I want to know from you guys how you're feeling about this game. So go ahead and predict the score. And, leave a Michigan or leave a TCU. Don't let us guess. We want to see if anyone can get this score prediction right. All right, let's dive into this, Harrison. Your 5 keys to winning for TCU. Let's just start off at the top. Walk me through them. I'll kind of give you my takeaways as we go through all these 5.
Yeah, I think you look at the first key, and it's avoid the early avalanche, right? And what we've seen in the past in the CFP is teams that are underdogs, sometimes you look up and it's 21-3 at the end of the first quarter. Oklahoma against LSU reminds me of that. Oklahoma against
Michigan, Georgia last year. I mean, it was over by Michigan's second drive.
Exactly. We've seen this a lot. You get these 4 weeks off, right? And it seems like one team, for whatever reason, is more prepared, more ready to go than the other. And I think TCU being an underdog compared to a Michigan team who's been here just a year ago, if someone's going to take a big lead early, it's probably Michigan. So if you're TCU, get to the end of the first quarter and not be down double figures. I think that's key number 1. And I think that really gets us into key number 2 here, James, is I think an equalizer for TCU in this game, not that JJ McCarthy's bad. He's very talented in the last 2 games. I would say have been the best he's played all year. But Max Duggan can be an equalizer here, a 4-year starter. I think if TCU is going to win this game, the Heisman finalists in Fort Worth needs to be the best player on the field. Max Duggan is going to have to outplay JJ McCarthy to win this game. And if you can do that, that'll certainly give TCU a chance to win.
One note quickly on Duggan as we kind of look at your top 5 here, keys of victory, is I forgot about this, and then I remember it today as I was diving deeper, is both him and McCarthy lost the job in fall camp, right?
Yeah.
He was not their starter for game 1. Came in, the original starter, Chandler Morris, got hurt in that first game. Michigan, different situation. McCarthy was named as the second game starter, played into it, but both these guys kind of had to battle, and now they find themselves, a combined record of 25-1 in the CFP. That's a pretty good story that I don't think a lot of people are talking about. So how about number 3 for you?
Yeah, so I think now you shift to defense, right? And I think the approach defensively, and really this is kind of how Michigan played Ohio State, James, is you have to accept that you're going to give up yards. And in today's college football, you're going to give up plays, but can you clamp down in the red zone? Can you force field goals? Can you get a timely takeaway from a young quarterback in JJ McCarthy? Red zone defense. Keep Michigan out of the end zone as often as possible. It's not about yards given up. It's about points. If you can force more 3s than 7s, you're going to be in a good position.
Yeah, this next one, you've got 5 explosive plays. And if I were to assess, kind of going back to your side, what has made Michigan different over the last couple of years, especially against Ohio State, is that they've been willing to bend but never break inside the 20s, and then they just lock down inside the 20s and make the other team do what they don't like to do. And so 5 explosive plays, how do you think TCU gets that?
Well, TCU leads the country in 50-plus yard plays. I can't remember what the number. It's close to 20, though. They have a lot of them. And I'm not saying they need 5-plus, 50-plus yard plays, but they need a handful of chunk plays, 20-plus yards in this one, whether it's running the football with Kendre Miller or Max Duggan finding Quentin Johnston or Tay Barber, Darius Davis downfield, a couple of undersized speedsters next to Johnston in this offense as well. TCU, there's a misconception how they play offensively. They're not a super up-tempo offense. I think their pace of play is like 80th in the nation, but they get chunk plays. They get a lot of big plays. I mentioned the 50-plus yard plays that they lead the nation in this year. They're very efficient. They're very explosive, and you're going to have to get some of those plays against a very top-tier Michigan defense, obviously, that's playing really, really well. So you got to find a handful of chunk plays on offense.
Your last one there, must tackle well. I mean, that's obvious for everybody, but has TCU done that? Have they struggled at times? What do you make of that last one?
I think it's twofold for me. The reason I make that point, and I mean, every game it's like, you need to tackle well, right? But what has Michigan done the last couple of weeks? They've worn teams out, and teams can't tackle Donovan Edwards in the third and fourth quarter,
exactly
right?
What it is, yeah.
You can't get worn down to a point where you're missing tackles that you have to make. And, one-on-one in space, these linebackers for TCU, are they going to get run over by the end of this game by a physical Michigan offensive line and Donovan Edwards, who has pulled off a lot of explosive plays? So you got to tackle well early. You got to have enough energy late to make those plays in open space. Otherwise, you're going to be in a little bit of trouble. And we saw Kansas State hit a couple of those in the Big 12 title game where they couldn't tackle Deuce Vaughn on a big play. He went for about 60 yards and a touchdown. So we know Edwards is capable of doing that. So if you're TCU, you got to make the plays and limit the big ones like we've talked about throughout this segment.
We are about halfway through this inside look at the TCU Horned Frogs with our own Harrison Graham, TCU Mega Insider. But I want to ask you guys, if you'd like to beat TCU, go ahead and like the video. We've been doing this for 2 years, folks. We started last year, the Wisconsin game. It's worked every single time except for Michigan State last year because the one guy we all know about didn't like the video. He's been banned from the channel. So if you want to keep it up, look, this is as good as it gets right now. 13-0 this year. Every single week we've done the like the video. Don't jinx it. Like the damn video right now. Michigan's going to beat TCU. All right, guys. Harrison, I want to just kind of key in on a couple games here for you guys. I asked you these questions early on as we prepared for this show. Tell me about TCU's best game from a defensive perspective.
It's definitely the Texas game. They were a 7.5-point dog going into Austin, which was extraordinarily disrespectful by Las Vegas, by the way. Vegas is not like TCU all year, although this line shifted in favor of the Horned Frogs against Michigan, but it was definitely Texas. You hold Bijan Robinson to 29 yards on 12 carries, easily his worst output of the season. Quinn Ewers was wondering if he was still in the state of Ohio because he looked confused for 4 quarters. And James, that game was 17-10. It was 17-3 with 4 minutes left, and Max Duggan and Kendre Miller had a bad exchange on a handoff that was run back for a touchdown. So what does that mean? That means that Texas had 3 offensive points in 4 quarters. So there's no doubt that was the game where it's like, okay, we know this TCU offense can score, but they can be good defensively as well. It's been a little inconsistent, but the second half of this season, they've been a lot better on that side of the ball, and I would say that game was one that TCU can point to and say, hey, we're capable of being locked down defensively, at least at times.
Yeah, one note on that game as I'm looking at the box score as I'm hearing you talk about it. Quinn Ewers, 39 passes, 171, 4.4 yards average per pass. Absolutely shut down. Quinn Ewers, one of the most overrated recruits in college football history. How about best game on offense? Go ahead and take us through this game against Oklahoma.
It was tough to pick one. I mean, they scored 62 points on the best team in the Big 12, Iowa State, in their season finale at home. But, last game of the year is Iowa State kind of mailed it in at that point. The reason I point to this game, James, almost 700 yards of total offense. This is the game where people are like, oh, TCU might actually be pretty good this year. Oklahoma was top 20 at the time. Now, we didn't know then what we know now about Oklahoma, but over 300 passing, almost 400 rushing, explosive play after explosive play. I think they had 4 or 5 50-plus yard plays in that game alone. I think that was the game where it's like, all right, Sonny Dykes and Garrett Riley, this offensive staff has real credibility. Like, we didn't know if it would take a year or two from Dykes coming from SMU to TCU, but it clicked right away. And I think that was also the game, James, of Chandler Morris was almost healthy by this game. We kind of thought, okay, it is Max Duggan's team. But after that game, it was like, this is the Duggan show. He's got his job back after being named the backup after being a 3-year starter. And so I think that game is the game I point to, even though Oklahoma ended up not being a very good team, just because that was the game where I think this team believed they could do it as well.
667 yards of offense against Oklahoma, as you mentioned, 307 through the air, 361 on the ground, including another 116 for Duggan himself. So he went over 300 passing and over 100 rushing. Folks, we mentioned the point spread in this game. Michigan is now only a 7.5-point favorite. So if you haven't bet it yet, you've got 2 extra points that you didn't have when these lines came out on Sunday. And we are bringing back the jersey promotion. So get going with BetUS, our sportsbook partner for the third season in a row. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. Use that promo code GoBlue. Once you get started, you just got to follow these 5 steps in order. Don't mess it up because it creates a lot of customer service hassles for me. Chatsports.com/GoBlue. It redirects you to the sign-up page for this promotion. Use promo code GoBlue when you sign up and you deposit $100 or more. You get the 125% deposit bonus. So let's say you put in $100, extra 125, 200, extra 250. You make your first bet. Once you do, email us jersey@chatsports.com. We'll put it in the live chat. We'll put it in the comments and the description of today's video. When you do, go ahead and email us. We'll get some information from you. Send us your account number with BetUS. That makes it easy. We'll verify it against the list we get for this promotion, and then we'll get your address and size and get you a Michigan football Jordan brand jersey. Make sure you use BetUS, our preferred sportsbook partner, and take advantage of this college football playoff deal, 125% deposit bonus, and Michigan football Jordan brand jersey. All right, Harrison, my keys to beating TCU, and I'd love just your take on it from your perspective, is what I have respected about TCU, and maybe it kind of felt like, oh, they are a paper tiger at first, but then it became part of their identity, was their ability to do well in close games. And so my opinion is Michigan can't do what they do, is start slow, and they score 30 points. I feel the defense has the ability to hold TCU to under 25 or something like that. If it's a close game late, like a 24-21, etc., I think TCU's their identity probably plays better into a close game and getting that win.
Yeah, they're not scared in playing close games. They did it all year, even in the Kansas State game. I mean, that game, they almost look dead, and they get into overtime, and they come up an inch or two short to potentially winning that game. But it's funny that you say 30 points, because this is kind of the number I've thrown out there talking about this matchup is I think if you're TCU or if you're Michigan, if you score 30, you should feel like you should win this game. I don't view this as a 45-42 shootout. I don't view this as a Illinois Michigan or Texas TCU, the game in the 10s, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I think this game will be in the mid-high 20s, low 30s. So if you can get to 30, I think that is the number. So whether you're TCU or Michigan, that's got to be the number you're eyeing. If you can get to 30 points, and if you still don't win, well, you feel like you've done about everything you could ask.
So for Michigan, I'm putting faster start as my number 2, and it's a tale of 2 seasons for them. The first 3 games of the year, the cupcake schedule in the out-of-conference, Michigan was up 42-0, 49-0, 37-0. Like, they crushed the first half, and then put the third and fourth strings in, didn't do well the second half. But over these last 7-8 games, Harrison, I'm not sure how close you follow these stats, Michigan has been maybe the best second half team in over a 7 or 8 game stretch in college football history. I mean, I'm having a tough time over an 8 game stretch finding a team that only gave up like 26 points over 8 games in the second half. So I think Michigan needs a faster start against TCU because I don't trust the Wolverines in the second half against a TCU team that's won like 7 games that are 10 points or less. So why is TCU so good at close games?
Well, it's funny, too, because TCU's also been a second-half team for most of this year. I felt like all year, if they're tied or within a score at halftime, they've got a good chance because I just think it's a mature group. I think Dykes and this staff have come in and calmed down, the culture and just reset everything. Just needed a fresh start. I think, Gary Patterson was more of an old-school guy, more of a hard-ass, which those coaches have their place in college football. I just think TCU need to change, and I think it's more of a player's environment. And I think Max Duggan's just a calming influence. He's been through everything as a college football player, often on the field, and you feel like you're never out of a game with him. It's a veteran offensive line. It's a veteran quarterback. Their key skill players, Miller and Johnston, have been through the battle. So I just think they know how to make the plays when they need to make the plays, and that bodes well, or that also is true defensively. Sometimes they'll get hit in the mouth early, but then in the second half, they shut out Oklahoma State in a game. They shut out, West Virginia in a game. So you just get this game to the second half if you're TCU, and kind of that calming presence comes in. And I think the pressure is on Michigan in this game. So if you're TCU, hey, get this game into the fourth quarter with the chance, see if the pressure rises on JJ McCarthy.
Well, another part of the show, Harrison, that you're not going to be on for is me talking. Is like, what's the perception of Harbaugh if he loses this game at TCU? It's like you get to the playoff, you have this best 2-year run in a lot of ways in Michigan football history, playoff, etc. If they don't beat TCU, being favorites, because Harbaugh clearly hasn't always done well as underdogs. Last year, Georgia, prior to last year against Ohio State. But as a favorite, he's done typically very well. All right, let's go to my number 3, and we'll keep it rolling here. My takeaway on on TCU is if Michigan can stop the run, force them to pass, I think Michigan has a better shot because when I look at the stats, the games that Kendry Miller, the games that Max Duggan had to, Miller did less, Duggan did more, seem to be the games they struggle. Now, the last 3 games, Kendry Miller, running back, 42 carries, 195, and 4 touchdowns. And I kind of say that looking at his stats, he had a bunch of 100-yard games kind of coming up to that Baylor game. And the 2 of the last 3 games, you got 1 loss against Kansas State, and then Baylor came down to the edge. Those 3 games, he only averaged 4 touchdowns, but only averaged about 65 yards per game, where Duggan had to kind of up his stats throughout those games.
Yeah,
what's your take there?
Look, all the talk is around Max Duggan for TCU. Make no mistake, they want to run the football with Kendry Miller and Amari DiMercato, their number 2 back, who is a capable player in itself. And Kendry Miller is a back that averaged well over 6 yards per carry this season. So, yeah, the last 3 games, he hasn't been quite himself. I thought Kansas State did a good job. We saw the goal line stand at the end of that game. He actually got nicked up in that Baylor game. Did not play most of the second half. But I think that's a big thing for TCU, too, and probably Michigan with some players. I'm not sure quite what their injury situation is. Miller and Quentin Johnston have been banged up the past month especially, so to get them right and healthy. But I'm with you. If you're Michigan and you limit Kendry Miller on the ground, as great of a story as Max Duggan has been and as capable as he is throwing the football, if he's into a situation where he's second, third, and long consistently, that is not where TCU wants to live offensively.
Yeah, and my just takeaway on this is that TCU's toughest game so far, and I haven't watched every game, but I would say I was tuned into 7 of TCU's 13 games this year where I was watching consistently, keeping track, especially as they got up to like 5 and 6 and 0. Like, wow, this team has a real chance. Is that when they had it going on the ground, that they seemed to be cruising, and when the running game wasn't going, forced to pass, it just didn't go as well for them. And that may be hyperbole in a lot of way, but when they have to abandon the run, and so that's kind of plays into my number 2, as if Michigan can start faster, forces TCU maybe to pass if Michigan's, let's say, up by 10 or 13 early on, then I think that puts Michigan in a good position for this game. All right, next one is throw for 250 yards is my takeaway for JJ McCarthy, which he is done a few times this year, but certainly not a ton, Harrison. If we look at McCarthy's stats here, right, 20 touchdowns in the year, ironically the same amount that Stetson Bennett has at Georgia. He's a Heisman finalist. Now, McCarthy doesn't make mistakes, but if I were to just break it down for him his entire season, Harrison, he gets about 185 to 200 yards a game, and he throws for either 1, 2, or 3 touchdowns, and it's like either 1 game, 3 the next, 0 one game, 2 the next. It's very inconsistent how they do it. But what is your just general takeaway on McCarthy and how he can have success or failure against the TCU defense?
Well, what I'll say this, James, is TCU's corners are both first-team All-Big 12. Trevius Hodges-Tomlinson, the nephew of LaDainian Tomlinson, and then Josh Newton, who actually transferred in from Louisiana Monroe and just became like a leader for this team. And I think that, I think TCU would actually prefer this to be the method for Michigan and kind of play what Ohio State tried to do, but just don't have busted coverages, right? Like where Ohio State keyed in on the run and had success stopping the run early against Michigan, but then they would just lose receivers in the secondary. I think that'll be a strategy for TCU, but don't have your defensive backs just lose contain, which is what Jim Knowles' defense did. Capable secondary. They have a safety, Bud Clark, with 4 interceptions this year. So I think JJ McCarthy, who's played a lot better down the stretch, and was asked to do more against Ohio State and successfully, I still think if you're TCU, you want to force McCarthy to throw the football. Kind of like if you're Michigan, you want Max Duggan to throw the football more as well.
Yeah, I put that into the 250 number is because now the playbook is out in some ways on Donovan Edwards. Everyone knows Michigan has no other running backs that are really capable this year. And so I do expect TCU to do what Jim Knowles did, but not necessarily as ridiculous as he did. So I think that to win, to get there, JJ is going to continue to have to step up. Didn't need to do it as much against Purdue in the second half, but when I ask you guys the question on screen, how many passing yards will JJ have against TCU? Let's go down in the comments. I said 250, but I don't actually know if we can get there. So I'm going to say 210. Harrison, quick guess?
Yeah, I think if you're Michigan, if he's in the 2s, that's a good number. I'll go 215.
All right, there you go. Comment down below how many yards will JJ have passing against TCU. Last one, Michigan needs to bring hits to the max. That's nice. Kind of a pun, play on words. Max Duggan. Give him the business, hit him. I think he's a hell of a lot tougher than Coleridge Stroud. He's a tough son of a bitch, and I think he earned the respect of college football fans everywhere who watched those last couple drives in the game against Kansas State last week. But in general, if he is, here's what Michigan has, TCU has that Ohio State doesn't, right? Is they can stop Max Duggan from passing the ball well, I think, by just running the same defense against Ohio State. But what Michigan hasn't accounted for in that scenario is that Duggan could just take off running like he did against Kansas State for 20 yards here, 35 yards there, 41 yards there. And so I think what Michigan needs to do is just hit him like a SOB, like they did to Stroud in 2021, and really got him off his game, put up some good stats, make him get rid of the ball faster, make him fearful of breaking containment and getting out on the run is my takeaway. But Harrison, has anyone really got to the point where you think they've rattled him all year so far?
No.
Yeah.
I think one thing we've known as TCU fans, even coming into this year where we're like, we don't know, it's probably time to move on from Max. Let's give someone else a try because he's been so inconsistent. The one thing he's always had is toughness. I mean, he doesn't slide hardly ever. He runs through defenders. He's not going to back down from anything. Now, that doesn't mean he can't get rattled. I mean, he's a quarterback, and if Mozzie Smith, assuming he plays, is hitting him 1, 2, 3, 4 times, like, yeah, that would rattle, I think, most college quarterbacks. But the one thing we do know about Max Duggan is he doesn't back down. He's not going to quit. He threw everything he had in himself to win that game against Kansas State, in a game where he really didn't play that great, but rallied his team late. But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think in any big game, if you can rattle a quarterback and hit him in the rib cage a couple of times and say, hey, I'm going to be here all day, I certainly think that's a good strategy if you're Michigan.
Yeah, as of Thursday, late afternoon, Mozzie Smith did plead to a misdemeanor in the gun charge, so the expectation is that he will play. I want to know from you guys, go ahead and predict the score. One more ask for you. Predict the score in the comments. Let us know who you think is going to win. And as we promised, Harrison and I with our score predictions. Folks, I think this is going to be interesting. I don't think Michigan is a wildly better team than TCU, but I do think they've got a proven identity over a couple years that I think they definitely believe in. And the one thing I can say about Michigan's defense that they've proven out, let's just say these last 7 to 8 games in the second half, especially, is that it is damn tough to score in them in the red zone. So I actually see this game playing out similar to the Purdue game, where maybe it's close, maybe Michigan doesn't get the hot start like I called for, and but Purdue or TCU has a ton of opportunities to get the ball down inside the 25, inside the 20, but forces them to a lot of field goals. So I'm calling for TCU to score 6 times, a touchdown, but 5 field goals. Michigan gets their own 5 touchdowns, wins 35-15. Over to you, Harrison, with your score prediction.
Yeah, I think that is going to be a key to watch for both these teams, is who executes more in the red zone, because I think both offenses will be able to move the ball in this game. But I think you get to these big games and it comes down to, third downs, red zones, turnovers. I really do think that's what it comes down to. I don't view TCU as like Cincinnati last year against Bama, where it's like, they're probably just happy to be here. Obviously, TCU is very happy to be here, and Michigan's looking for more after coming up short last year. I see this like as a 31-24 game. Michigan, I do think 30 is the number in this game. If a team scores 30 points, that team will probably win. I'd be surprised if both teams were in the 30s, but I don't think TCU will be intimidated playing this game. I don't think that this is some mountain that they don't feel like they can climb. So I'll go 31-24 Michigan. I think it's a little bit closer, but it just feels like it's finally time for Harbaugh. Like it feels like this is their time, but I do think this will be a game in the fourth quarter, and if you're TCU, that's really all you can ask, because you've been in that situation all year.
Yeah, I agree with you that it will probably be a game in the fourth quarter. I think Michigan probably, like if I were predicting, let's say 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter, I would predict that it'd probably be like 21-15 or 21-12 or something like that is my prediction. And Michigan, at least if they follow suit what they've done over the past 8 weeks or so, they get 1 or 2 touchdowns late and just kind of work the ground game and then score maybe a touchdown or 2 where it didn't really matter, but don't give up any late touchdowns or anything like that. So I've got 35-15. Harrison's got 31-24. Folks, make sure you follow him on Twitter. It's at HGramNFL. And of course, you're going to be a nice guy. Tweet at him, give him a go blue in the comment, in the tweets there that you're going to send him. It's at HGramNFL. Thank you so much to Harrison Graham, my colleague, College Football Now, Chicago Bears Now. It's a long segment. We just wrapped at it for 26, 27 minutes, huh, Jack? Pretty crazy there. So thanks so much to him for coming on the show. Saw those comments, saw everybody's chats coming in, so really appreciate it. Couldn't really get to them as I was back and forth with Harrison. But we're doing to remind you guys, I got where's that Blake Corum football coming from? Check this bad boy out. Blake Corum signed football. That's kind of going in the giveaway to our MVP. But did want to show you guys, we had a super chat come in there from, who was it? From Jeremy, right? We'll take your question here, Jeremy. But I did ask you, add you right there. See you, Jeremy? You are on the helmet there. We'll get to that. We'll put it in the show as well. We'll put it on the thing. So, Jeremy, thank you so much. If you guys haven't seen, we've got about 15 minutes left to go on the show. We're going to take about 15 more of your questions. So, here's a super chat menu. If you want to contribute to the show at all, $100 we'll FaceTime you. $5 wheel spin. $10 helmet sticker. As you see, we've got a ton of helmet stickers. And then $50 I will send you, like we did for, remind me, Jack, Dan Ferrer is getting Jet. Dan, we're going to hook up with you and give you a Michigan football happy birthday, unique happy Merry Christmas video. So because we got so many super chats, I want to thank everyone for participating in the show. We are going to do a wheel spin. Jack's going to spin the wheel. Jack, before we do, tell the people what's on the menu, unless you want me to. I've got it up as well.
I got it.
You got it up? All right. Jack's going to tell you guys.
Ask me anything, 5 push-ups, drink half a beer, prank call the MSU lawyer again, who didn't answer the first time, tell a dad joke, 5 squats, sing Hail to the Victors, James will wear a wig for 5 minutes, and that is it. All
right, so those are the 8 things. Jack's going to spin this wheel. Whatever one it lands on, we will do before we start going with our next Michigan football mailbag Q&A. So what does it say? 5 squats. All right, Jack. 5 squats. Got to undo the things in my back so I don't go down and squat. So bring me full screen, Jack. I'm going to back up here under the lights here. You guys can't see it. Maybe we should have like an overhead cam next time, but maybe not. All right, guys. Let's keep it rolling. Okay, ready? Okay.
Here
Jack,
we go.
You got to give me a grade. But you can't be biased, Jack. You
Okay.
got to tell the people how I do it. I don't want to tuck this cord into my pants or something like that. Okay, cool. Ready? And
1, 2, 3, the immaculate form. 4,
I'm doing
5,
like 8, Jack, because you know what? It's feeling good.
6.
All right?
He can't be stopped.
These legs
7,
are going to be on the beach tomorrow. Hey,
8,
I'm doing 10 because these legs are going to be
9.
on the beach tomorrow. Going
He can't be stopped,
Miami.
folks.
Oh, baby. Okay, cool. So there you go. We did one. There it is. So if you guys want to super chat, there is the menu, but no one's required to super chat. It's all good and fun. You get rewarded, though. We don't just take your money or anything like that, put you on the helmet. We're going to give this helmet away, plus the Blake Corum football. We got to get a new helmet. We are full of stickers. Jeremy filled up the last one. We got a couple more spots here, but we're going to get a new helmet for next week's live show. What do we want to do here, Jack, before we dive in? So Jack and I, by the way, we are the Banner Boys. We don't just we talk about it. We be about it, as our guy said. So this is our national championship shirt, right? It's got the banner across the top. It's tough to tell. It's actually not as good as I thought, Jack. It's got the outline of the M Club supports you that Michigan rolls out. Jack and I bought these as soon as Michigan beat Ohio State, right? And these are our banner shirts, meaning that it's got the banner on it, and these are the shirts we wear in the national championship.
Banner
when
boys.
Michigan raises the banner for the
boys.
national championship. Give me a banner, boys.
boys.
Banner boys. Banner boys. So Jack and I are now
Natty,
the Banner
natty,
boys.
natty, 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 natty.
All right, I'm excited. It's gonna be an awesome. This is gonna be an awesome month, all the way up to January 9th in LA. Let's before we dive into Wolverine, Alaska, 27 inches of snow yesterday. Let's put him on the show really quick. Wolverine, Alaska with the $20 super chat. He's getting 2 more helmet stickers. Wolverine, here's what I'm going to do for you, man. Because this thing's so full, I'm going to wait. We just ordered a helmet. It's going to be here on Tuesday, so it'll be here well before the next show. You're going to get the first 2 spots right up front on the next helmet. So, Jack, put it down. Wolverine, Alaska, 2 spots on the helmet. Is he at the $50 yet today? Do we owe him a video? That's 40. Okay. Wolverine, 10 more. We're going to send you a personalized Michigan football report video just to you. Happy holidays video. So let us know. But, you're on the helmet. You're right up there with the leaderboard. Make sure we add that 20 to Wolverine Alaska's wheel leaderboard. He says, still didn't have the 27 inches of snow yesterday, but the temp is up to 15 degrees. What do you think about Hogan Hansen? Have we got top recruits from Washington before? Stephen Schilling, right? I think it was like the 2006 or 7 or 5 class. I can't remember. 5-star out of there. Also, who else did we get a Washington? Stephen Schilling, like 5-star offensive lineman, wasn't that great of a player. Wasn't a 5-star player. It's the best one I can remember. I'll have to do a little research when we're not live on the air. But frankly, I heard the name as like a target, but I wasn't expecting this one. It's not one. I'm totally focused now for the next 2.5 weeks on the 2023 class in the transfer portal. So I apologize. I didn't really have a great I'm out of time to learn more about him after the commitment. We were getting ready for the show all afternoon. C from my guy Shane Johnson, whose birthday I believe is tomorrow. Shane, I just hit you back on Twitter as well. Hansen's 6'6", a beast similar to Colson, so that makes it look good. Braylon Allen update. David Friedman. Look, Braylon Allen looks like he tweeted something out. He could be doing the long con and saying, just trying to do that, but he tweeted out something a couple days ago that he was staying at Wisconsin, so that's a real bummer if Michigan was going to make a real play at him. What's up, Jack? Oh, man. Steven Mertz. So we'll answer this one. Steven Mertz, my man Mertz on Instagram, had a funny comment. He said, who would you rather have your son, or you visit your mom or your son? It was Josh Gaddis or Zach Wilson, right? Yeah. Okay, if you're a high school recruit, who would you rather have, your mom, me? That's perfect. That's perfect. Zach Wilson, who reportedly had a little foray with his mom's friend, or Josh Gaddis, friend's mom. That's right, his friend's mom. Josh Gaddis, known recruit mother slayer. Probably Gaddis, because I don't think he could. I don't think it was a recruit that Gaddis could probably have that much success. I don't know. Probably Gaddis, because Zach Wilson's like an NFL quarterback. That has a lot more cachet than like Miami offensive coordinator that's probably going to get fired. So I would say Gaddis, but that's a pretty funny comment from Steve Merce. By the way, we just had Harrison on. He left in, so appreciate you guys. Spam Harrison. Go. We need to represent, guys, because he's talking mad trash. He's in Dallas where we are here. He's talking all kinds of shit all week, and he's got his buddies tweeting at me and stuff like that. So spam Harrison. Just tweet at him. Just click on that link in the live chat and just say, go blue, right? You can even say go fuck yourself, Harrison, if you want to, but make sure you add go blue to it. Harrison Graham from Chat Sports' College Football Now, also host of our Bears Now channel, which is youtube.com/Bears TV, I think it is. Go spam him with a go blue. Blue Wolverine, my guy with a $9.99. He gets another helmet sticker. So, Jack, we got 2 from Wolverine Alaska, and we owe 1 to Blue Wolverine, another $9.99. Blue Wolverine, you're going to be right there at the front of the helmet when we get our second helmet. It's getting delivered on Tuesday. Thank you so much, Go Blue Wolverine. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Favorite Michigan item I own. I actually think it's this coat, honestly, right here. I've had this for about 3 years now. I got it from my mother-in-law for Christmas, I believe. It's a Jordan. It's super thin. It's stretchy. I wear it all the time. It's got the Jordan brand. I've had it about 3 years, and I don't know where she got it from. People ask me all the time, James, where did you get that coat that you were wearing on the thing? Where did you wear that? I love this thing. It is literally like a track jacket. You can stretch it. Look how bad I can stretch this thing. Like, it's crazy. It's Jordan brand. It's awesome. I think sometimes the Nike Jordan brand, I think it's like 50-50. Good or bad, but this thing is amazing. I don't know where I got it from, but it rules. I think it's my favorite Michigan piece of item. I also have a couple pair of Michigan Jordans, right? I got a pair of 3s, and I got a pair of Michigan Jordan 1s. I love those, although I haven't opened them because value-wise, better to keep in the box. I haven't worn them, I should say. So that is that. All right, guys, we're going to take about 10 minutes to your question. Make sure you are liking the video. Let's get to 300 likes. Jack, give me a like update. Where are we at with the likes? 220 likes. So come on, we get 80 of you guys to like the show. We've got 300 plus or so people. I have to update the number here. Where are we at on viewers right now, Jack? 312 people. So we get 80 of you guys, right? 1 out of every 4 of you guys likes the video. We will start the next part of the show. We have question from Jeremy coming up. We're going to get to my guy Jeremy got a super chat in the break. We're going to talk about him, and we've got a bunch of Michigan football questions. Make sure you guys are using hashtag Michigan to get on the show. Give me a like on the video. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports. All right, it is Michigan Football Report mailbag time, taking questions from our live YouTube show. As always, use hashtag Michigan to get live on the show. Here's what we're going to do, guys. I want to take a vibe of the crowd, vibe of the people, vibe of the Michigan fan base. Who are you rooting for in the other game? Michigan's going to face Georgia, or face TCU. Face Georgia national championship game, maybe. Face TCU, 4 o'clock Eastern. Game will be over by 7:30, 7:45. 20, 30, 40 minutes later, Georgia and Ohio State are going to kick off. Who are you rooting for? Assuming Michigan wins, this will be your opponent. Give me a G or an O. I don't know. I mean, I think Michigan has a better chance of winning the national title if it's Ohio State. They beat Ohio State 2 years in a row. They've got the upper hand in this rivalry than they do Georgia. But think about best case, worst case scenario. Let me just stick with me for a second here. Playing Georgia. Best case, you win. You got revenge on them. You beat the defending undefeated national championships. You are so undisputed, it's not even funny. Worst case, you lose to a team that would probably be favored over you by 7 points, 6 points, something like that. You made the national title game, big jump up in a 2-year span. Think about Ohio State. High or high, you beat Ohio State for the national title game, 3 straight wins. But that would be the lowest low I think I've ever accomplished in my life. If Michigan lost to Ohio State in the national championship game after Michigan beat them 2 straight years after 2 decades of being dominated by them, but then you lose the national title game, that would be the lowest low. I don't think I could do it. I'd probably think, Jack, I'm shutting down the company. We're all unemployed if Ohio State beats Michigan, probably. I think it'd be the lowest low. So I'm rooting for Georgia because I just don't want Ohio State to even have the chance, although I do think it's Michigan's better chance to win the game is if they were to play Ohio State. A lot of G's in the comments, but I did see quite a few O's in the comments. So let me know what you guys think. All right, we had a super chat coming from Jeremy Clory. He says, thanks for the great content. Me want a sticker. Jeremy, you got a sticker on the helmet. You actually got our last sticker. I showed it just a few moments ago. I can't find it at the moment. There's so many of them right there. But Jeremy, you were on the helmet. Really appreciate you. And thank you so much for the super chat. My guy, guys, we have a new helmet for next week's live show. We're going to Blue Wolverine in 1 and Wolverine Alaska 2 stickers to start that new helmet. Speaking of Blue Wolverine, he says, where's the favorite Michigan item you own? If you guys didn't see a moment ago, my favorite Michigan item I own is this Michigan football Jordan brand. It's super stretchy, like track jacket. It's so comfortable. Keeps you kind of warm. You can wear a bunch of stuff under it. I've had it for about 3 years. I have no idea where I got it. It was a Christmas present, I think in 2019 from my mother-in-law. Rest in peace to her. And so that's what it is. So that's my favorite item, although I do have a bunch from way too many Michigan football items, probably. But I guess that's the life of a fan. Billy Blue says, if you were in charge, what changes would you make to the Michigan football program? So we saw this one coming early in the show. I told Jack and I had a little time to prepare this answer, so we want to make sure we got this question because I think it was a really good question. So here's my take here, folks. Michigan football needs a general manager. They cannot allow Jim Harbaugh to be responsible for the transfer portal, both in and out, academic requirements, hobnobbing with boosters and things like that, worrying about his own players, whether they're going to transfer, whether they're going to stay eligible, 2023 recruiting, 2024 recruiting, roster management. You take in some transfers, you lose some transfers, you take in recruits. Oh my gosh, we don't have any scholarships levels. Michigan needs a professional sports business level operator, folks. I think Michigan, can they remain elite, right? With recruiting, with name, image, and likeness, with transfers in, transfers out. Michigan needs a sports business operator, someone who maybe has been a general manager of an NFL team or is an up-and-comer in that regard, or someone who's worked in sports business, maybe not for a college football team, but can operate business at the highest level. Jack, someone who's maybe opened a business that develops millions of dollars a year in revenue, that's got dozens of employees, it's got a ton of shows, someone who loves Michigan football. If there's a guy out there hitting his prime of his business career, has passion for the Michigan football program, can recruit people, can hire people well, can get rid of people, all those sorts of things. If there's a guy like that out there, I don't know who he is. What's that? You guys, Michigan should hire him. People have, Jack saying, I know the guy. He's a good-looking guy. He's a hard-working guy. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens there, but I think that's what Michigan needs, whether it's somebody that Jack knows or not. I think Michigan needs to make an effort. I think in 2 or 3 years, folks, this is going to be the norm in college football. A general manager, just like in the NFL, somebody making $1.5 million a year who is absolutely in charge of every aspect of the program. Allow the coaches to coach a little bit damn more. Underneath them, they're going to have a director, a scout for recruiting, a scout for transfer portals, a scout for roster management, all that different thing. Jim Harbaugh can't handle it all. I think Michigan needs a general manager of the football program. All right, keep using your hashtags Michigan or Super Chat to get on our live show. Appreciate everyone who is watching live, and we're going to put this video up on demand as well. Let's take another question, though, from Mark Majkowski, long-time viewer. He says, what happened to all going pro announcement? What happened to all going pro announcement? Hinton, lesson learned, NFL, a big jump. Did Eric All, while we were live, did he announce he was going pro? Or am I misconstruing what he's saying? Okay. Okay, so that's, Clearly last year was going to go pro. It was intense after 3 seasons at Michigan. They didn't get the vibe back. He's going to be a 4th-round pick, 5th-round pick. Jim Harbaugh talked about how it would be in the offense. But what's come out today is pretty intriguing, is that a lot of Michigan football fans, after the Cade McNamara interview early in the week and all the speculation around Eric All, how he kind of put out – seemed like sour grapes on his final tweet about Michigan, is that All was salty about Michigan. Maybe Michigan wasn't going to let him play because of a medical issue or anything like that. I did see something that just comes through. 3 games, Eric All down to 3 finalists. Is that real? I'll have to check on that. But nevertheless, I don't know. There seems to be some sort of bad blood between him and Michigan right now. Potentially because of Jim Harbaugh. I don't say he moved on to Luke Schoonmaker, moved on to Colson Loveland. But nevertheless, I don't know, Eric All, I think it's a bummer all in. Him and Cade McNamara, I don't think they left. I think they're great guys. I think they're going to have good careers the next step. I think they could have left with a little bit more grace, and it is what it is at this point. But Jim Harbaugh, Michigan football, I think they've got different things to worry about at this point, winning a national championship, winning the college football playoff against TCU. Speaking of Jim Harbaugh, check out these numbers, folks. Jim Harbaugh bet on himself. Got all kinds of bonuses in the 2021 season. Now he's getting more bonuses here again in the 2022 season. For winning the Big Ten East, Harbaugh got $500,000. For winning the Big Ten Coach of the Year last week, $50,000. Winning that big game against Purdue, folks, Jim Harbaugh, $1 million bonus, which then the next day made him another $500K against by getting in the college football playoff. So just in a span of 8 days, Jack, $2,050,000, right? $2.05 million, and he gets another $1 million bonus if he wins the national championship, folks. So Jim Harbaugh has made in the from the Ohio State game through the day after the Ohio State game, he made $2 million plus another $50,000 in bonuses. Gets another $1 million for winning the national championship, folks. I want to give you guys a bonus, and that is a 5,000 point bonus when you get started with today's sponsor, Fetch. Fetch is the free app for iPhone and Android. Let's let you scan receipts to earn points and turn those points into rewards. So you just pull up the Fetch app, you scan your receipts when you're exiting a store, you hook up your Amazon account, you hook up your email address. It's just one touch to connect your Amazon account. Type in your email address password. They scan for your receipts at Uber, DoorDash, you buy something off Nike, you will get points in the Fetch app. And if you're shopping at Target, Walmart, anywhere, local mom and pop stores, scan the receipts, get points with Fetch. Then you can turn those points into gift cards, right? You get 5,000 bonus points when you download the free app for Android or iPhone. Chatsports.com/Fetch. Jack, if you get the chance, toss that in the live chat here, and it'll be down in the comments and the description. 5,000 bonus points. The Fetch app. Scan your receipts. Hook up your Amazon account. You get 5,000 bonus points when you sign up and use promo code CHAT and scan your first receipt. That's equivalent, folks, to a $5 gift card. You accumulate points for every purchase you get. Trust me, I've been addicted to this Fetch app. I'm scanning receipts. I'm walking into stores sometimes, throwing the receipt. Hey, can I grab that receipt? I'm scanning the app, getting points. I redeemed over $60 in Fetch reward cards since I've become a user of the app. Just snap your receipts, get reward points, and turn those reward points into gift cards. Get 5,000 free bonus points. It's chatsports.com/Fetch. Get the Fetch app for iPhone or Android. It is free. Chatsports.com/Fetch. Wolverine, Alaska, my guy, my super chat palooza. Is that another $10? Is that another 10? Oh gosh. So another 10, Jack, for Wolverine, Alaska. Wolverine, you've got 3 stickers on the new helmet right at the front, along with Blue Wolverine. What game looks most exciting next year? Beating Ohio State again, or beating Iowa at the Big Ten championship game? Now, why is that an interesting question? Because Cade McNamara, of course, will be the quarterback of the Iowa Hawkeyes. A little bit of bad blood right now for some people. It's still going to be Michigan for me. I wish Cade would have went out and just said, if you guys saw about an hour ago, he basically said, I try to put the word out through back channels, some parents of former players that know Cade. Just tell him to put out a tweet that he'll always love Michigan. He wishes JJ the best. He still has, playing. He still has abilities in him. He's going to go try and get some playing time elsewhere because Michigan's not the spot for him anymore because JJ McCarthy's doing so great. He'll always be a Michigan Wolverine. Go Blue. He's pulling for you. All that good stuff. But he chose not to. I don't think he's taking shots at Michigan, but it hasn't been necessarily graceful. So I'm going to say Ohio State always. But, beating Iowa next year, I don't know, it might be more exciting like the Penn State game. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. So thank you so much for $10 chat from one of our MVPs, right? He's got to be up there right behind John Blaze, who I haven't seen today. So over in Alaska, one of our top couple super chatters during this college football national championship run. I want to ask you guys this question as Michigan is now, we're about 3 weeks away, folks, just over 3 weeks from Michigan playing TCU. Donovan Edwards, how many yards will he have against TCU on the ground rushing? 125 is the over-under that I have set. Give me a O for over or a U for under. I'm going to take a couple questions here on the live show. Mark Machkowski says Michigan going all blue or all white, depending. I'm not sure what that's too, but Michigan will have the home uniforms in the I'm not sure if you meant the first game or the national championship game, but the way it shakes out, folks, is Michigan will wear either all blues or their traditional blue uniforms, yellow pants, maize pants. They are the home team. And then in the national championship game, if it's Georgia's the home team. Michigan will wear something white. If it's Ohio State, Michigan will be the home team, and they can wear whatever uniform they want. A lot of people coming in with over. Brandon, Jerry, Zach, Jeremy again. Jeremy, thank you so much for the super chat. D-Lo K says, D-Lo K is God, says, oh, he's just loving it. Saw a question coming in from Becky in chat. Thank you guys so much for watching. And then Carl Cordell, I like this one. Go Blue, Bosa, F, Ohio. My guy, Carl, really appreciate you joining the show. So give me an O, give me a U in the comments and the live chat. Elephant Trainer 3000. He says, if we lose to TCU, what will that change the fan base's opinion of Jim Harbaugh's future? That's a great question, Jack. That's a great question. We talked about it a second ago. I saw this question come in earlier, and I wanted to address it. So, as I mentioned Harrison on the live show, the portion of the show we just did a second ago, is Jim Harbaugh has done excellently well in his time at Michigan at winning when he is the favorite, right? It's not perfect, right? He's lost a few games when he's favorites over the year. But up until the Ohio State game the last 2 years, he has been it's been a start off as when Michigan is not the favorite, right? There's all those stats out there. Oh, Michigan's 1-15 or whatever it is when we're the underdogs at Michigan. So being a favorite, being a touchdown favorite against TCU, when everyone thinks it's out there for them, Michigan, they can potentially beat Georgia. That Georgia team lost 5 first-rounders off that defense that really tore Michigan up last year. JJ McCarthy's coming in his own. Donovan Edwards is so hot. If Michigan loses this game, I think it's going to be a tough pill to swallow this off-season, folks. I'm just going to say this, folks. He cannot lose at TCU, right? I can handle a loss in the national championship game, not expecting it, but it would be so disappointing, especially with Ohio State out there, especially with the Buckeyes sit there with an opportunity right afterwards to win and then go and play TCU in the national championship game. I mean, just think how much of a gut punch that would be if Ohio State won the national championship and they didn't even have to go through Michigan. That might even be worse than beating Michigan. I'm not even sure there. So Harbaugh just cannot lose this game. Whatever it takes, you got to win this game. It is no questions asked. You've got a month to prepare, 4 weeks to prepare. Jim Harbaugh cannot lose to TCU. All right, folks, if you haven't yet, make sure to follow me on Twitter. The link is down at the bottom of the first paragraph of today's video. Also, I'm going to toss it here in the live chat. If you haven't watched, if you haven't followed me on Twitter, it is at James Yoder. Give me a follow. At 9,879 followers right now. Anybody who watches or follows me during the live show, first 5 people will follow me during the live show here. If you haven't yet, at James Yoder, go ahead and give me a follow. I will follow back. And if you follow me, you're watching, I haven't followed you back, don't unfollow and refollow. Just say, James, I've been following. Give me a follow back. I'll hit you with one of those as well. It's at James Yoder on Twitter. It is in the live comments and the live chat. Becky and Chad, longtime viewers, the Michigan football royal couple says the expansion of the playoff kill off some of the bowl games, or does it affect the rivalry games, or both? With the playoff going to 12 games, I had a few just like wild conversations and thoughts in this past week. Number one being, I hope the Big Ten keeps divisions. Why do I hope that? Well, think of the scenario where Michigan and Ohio State continue to be dominant programs, let's say even more so than USC, UCLA, Penn State, and it's something like this, like this year, right? 2 11-0 teams, or last year, 2 10-1 teams. How fun is it going to be, not very fun at all for me, if they play each other the next week? Not going to be very fun at all. And then, if you think about this too, won't it be kind of a weird disadvantage/advantage? Like the first game might not even matter. The second game may matter more because you can get the bye if you win your conference title. That would be a terrible situation for Michigan, Ohio State to be in. And hell, what if you played again in the Big Ten championship game, and then you played maybe 2 games later in the quarterfinals or something like that, the semifinals. I don't want to see Michigan and Ohio State start playing each other back-to-back weeks, every year or two. I think that would be terrible. So I hope the Big Ten keeps divisions, at least my opinion. But you guys will decipher. But every year, I think there's going to be years where the games won't mean as much. Auburn, Alabama won't mean as much. Michigan, Ohio State might not mean as much. It'll probably mean more about seeding than it will be the rivalry factor. I think that's just the business that we're living in right now, and maybe it's unfortunate, but hopefully, Michigan gets a playoff game on a home campus or something like that, and we find the benefits of it in the near future. Cameron D. coming in with a question. My guy says, what reasons made Dante Moore choose Oregon, and won't Jaden Davis be considering the same reasons? Pretty interesting question there from Cameron. I think the decisions were maybe just one or two. Decision number one, I think Oregon made it very clear from the very beginning of what a name, image, likeness deal would look like for the starting quarterback at Oregon, and even a freshman quarterback at Oregon that Jim Harbaugh and Michigan just weren't in the position to do. Maybe a better position. Also, there's a lot of rumor and chit-chat about his parents getting relocation assistance through NIL or jobs. I don't know definitely about that sort of things, but that could be it. Jaden Davis is going to have to travel probably, just not just as far, but 4 or 5 states away. Dante Moore is going all the way across the country to Oregon. So some of those considerations may help, may hurt. I don't think Michigan would have got this far down with him, with a 2024 recruit who won't be on campus for, at earliest, 13 months from now, unless all those things are fleshed out, what he's looking for, what he needs to. So I think the answer is no. But if Michigan doesn't get him, oh boy, I think people are going to come back and say, look, Michigan's just never going to compete for a top quarterback ever again until they get their act together with name, image, and likeness. All right, guys, make sure you are following me on Twitter. I'm going to check it really quick here as we are wrapping up the Michigan Football Report here on a Thursday. Anybody follow me? I got Zach Lemke. Thank you so much, Zach. I saw you a bunch in the chat. Just followed. I'm going to follow you guys back here on the live show. Give me a follow on Twitter. It is at James Yoder. Guys, we're going to get a new Michigan football helmet for the next show. Before we go off, keep this on screen, Jack. I want to ask you guys a question. What's a good time to do live shows? We haven't done consistent live shows. We're going to do them for the next 2 months. Thursday at 6 o'clock Eastern was the time we picked for this week. We don't have to keep it. So what is a good time? Is it during your work day? We thought about next week maybe noon, 1 o'clock Eastern. Who knows? 2 o'clock, 8 p.m. from Go Blue 1881 John. So let me know if it's during the week. We probably do it Monday through Friday. Thursday's the day we pick. We don't have to pick Thursday every week, but that'll be the consensus probably going forward. Same as today from Rob J. Let me know what questions you guys, what time you guys prefer our live show. Hour live, hour and a half, hour and 45 like today. Same as yesterday, as I said, Go Blue 1881. Give me your times. We'll keep it up for about 30 more seconds here. See what you guys are thinking. It doesn't seem like anybody's commenting on this one, but just let me know what you're thinking. What time of the day should we do these live shows? I'll ask this question on Twitter, and I'll ask you on the YouTube community tab as well. Becky and Chad coming in with the same. So appreciate you guys watching today's show. It is now 7:45 on the East Coast as we've been live for 105 minutes. Comment in the videos. Say, go live at this time throughout this next week. We'll make a decision on Monday or Tuesday next week what time to go live. We'll definitely do it Thursday next week, but open to switching the time if you guys would prefer it to be another time during the day. It's at James Yoder on Twitter. We are approaching 10,000 Twitter followers. Really appreciate everyone who has supported the show over these last few seasons. 8 p.m. works. I'm Zach Lemke. Thank you so much for the chat there, Zach. So maybe we'll move it back an hour. We'll see next week. It is the Michigan Football Report. As Jeremy Clora comes in and says 7 o'clock Eastern. So I think in the PM is probably what people are thinking, maybe an hour later than we did or so. Appreciate all the feedback. This is the Michigan Football Report from Chat Sports. I am your host, James Yoder, along with Jack Louderay. We have a new nickname, Jack. We're the Banner Boys. We are the Banner Boys. Going to take this year all the way to the National Championship. I will be back. We'll put some of this content up over the weekend, and I will be back with fresh Michigan football videos early next week, and it'll be our live show next Thursday. If you haven't yet, follow me on Twitter, subscribe to the channel, and until I see you next time, go Blue.